Azure Storage is highly available, scalable, durable, and secure managed service offered by Azure. Azure Storage data is accessible from anywhere in the world over HTTP or HTTPS. The Azure Portal and Azure Storage Explorer provide user interface tools for interacting with Azure Storage. Azure Storage services are accessed through a storage account with a unique address. To create an Azure Storage account, search for Storage Account on Azure Portal. Once you are on Storage Account page, click on Create. On Basics tab, select the subscription and resource group where you want to provision storage account. Enter storage account name that can be mix of lowercase letters and numbers, which should be unique within Azure. Select appropriate region as it might change the underlying options like storage account type and redundancy. Determine whether you want to have premium storage account for block or page blobs or file shares, or go ahead with general purpose V2 account with standard performance for all. Choose the appropriate redundancy option from available like LRS, which is 3 copies in same data center, ZRS, which is 3 copies in different data centers in same region, GRS, which has total 6 copies, 3 in one data center in one region and 3 in another data center in secondary region, or GZRS, which is same as GRS, but copies in primary region is kept in different data centers unlike GRS. On Advanced tab, select relevant options as per your requirement. First option require secure transfer using REST API should be used if you want all requests to use HTTPS and not HTTP and connections to the file share to be encrypted. Second option is self-explanatory, it allows public access on blob containers. Enable storage account key if you want to use it for authorization or with SAS key, or you can use Azure AD instead. Select required TLS version from drop-down. Last option is still in preview, which allows you to scope storage accounts from where you can copy data later. Select hierarchical namespace if you are using storage account for big data analytics. If selected, you can choose from below 2 options of protocols that are grayed out for us as we haven't chosen hierarchical namespace. Select cross-tenant replication if you would like to copy objects to another storage account in different AD tenant. Select hot or cool tier as per your requirement. Hot tier is ideal for frequently accessed data. You can choose option to have large file share up to 100 TB if needed and you do not want globally redundant storage. On next page, select required network settings. Select if you want storage account to be accessed publicly from all networks or selected VNet and IPs, or want to access it using private IP. Choose the preferred routing option. Internet routing might be cheaper but can add latency as traffic would be routed to Microsoft Cloud using Internet near Azure endpoint even if it is at distance from client. However, Microsoft Network uses global network to route traffic through location nearest to client to Azure endpoint, thus can be costlier but will improve performance. On Data Protection tab, select if you want point-in-time restore for one or more containers. To enable it, soft delete, versioning, and soft delete must also be enabled. Select if you want to enable soft delete to be enabled for container, blob or file share. Soft delete is used to keep data for some additional days as per retention provided after deletion to safeguard against accidental deletion. Soft delete feature of container can be used for restore only if entire container was deleted and not only blobs within. As we are creating test environment, we will keep it unchecked for now. Enable versioning if you want to keep previous versions of blobs. Every put, copy, set blob operation would create a new version. Blob change feed is to keep track of all transactions on blob as log files. Select last option if you want to set immutability for all blob versions scoped at storage account level. Immutability is used to avoid modification or deletion of data. You can also set it at granular level like containers or blobs if this option is left unchecked. Azure encrypts data at rest using Microsoft Managed Keys by default. You can use Customer Managed Key if you have your own key. You can set scope of CMK to blob and files or all services. Infrastructure encryption is secondary encryption layer. Select if you want to enable and scope it at storage account level. Add tags if required. Review the details and create storage account once validation has been passed. Now go to the deployed storage account. Please note that activity log only logs action related to storage account and not activities within like creation of container or mapping of blobs using SAS token. In data migration, you can select resource and scenario and get details of available methods for data transmission as per your requirement. In data storage, we have storage services that are available like blob containers, file shares, queue, table. We will discuss about it in detail in another video. In networking, you can modify the network access under firewall and VNet. Create Azure CDN for faster delivery of data to nearest location and can be used with static websites. You can see access keys, which is like root password of storage account, rotate them. Create shared access key to grant access to resource for specified time with assigned permissions. Change encryption type or scope. You can modify redundancy and data protection options after creation of storage account from data management. Object replication is used to asynchronously copy data from one storage account to another. Static websites can be used to host static web page content. You can use lifecycle management rule to move data to appropriate access tier or delete it based on condition provided. You can use Azure Search to search for required details from blob using cognitive skills. You can change storage account configuration like blocking public access to blob or storage key access. See advisor recommendations. Fetch storage service resource ID or endpoint URL, lock storage account from settings. You can also monitor storage account for monitoring, check resource health, or create support ticket if required. So this was all about overview of Azure Storage Account. We will discuss about other UI option, which is Storage Explorer, in another video.